So the big question is this. How entrepreneurs like us who have been breaking with old beliefs, like the idea of holding a 9-to-5 job and living paycheck to paycheck, taking a lifetime to reach business and life success as the only option we have? How do we grow our business in a way that lets us highly service our customers, getting our products and services and the things that we believe in out into the world without diluting our life but enhancing it and taking the journey of internal and external growth? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. Your host is Marina Simon, and welcome to 10 Exit. Life and business as usual? Never again.
Hi guys, talking into a mic. Have you ever tried to do that? It's kind of crazy at the beginning, right? For you guys who are thinking on podcasting or you're already podcasting, it's very interesting because your first chapters are always the worst. You kind of haven't really find yourself on the mic, which they call quote unquote finding your voice. You're kind of stiff. You don't know if you're saying right, you're full of fillers, like, but I tell you something, never, ever, ever erase those first episodes because those are the ones that tells your story, that shows your beginnings, that sees the change within you from the beginning of the journey to where you are in the present environment time. So talking to a mic, this is probably the most difficult thing to conquer when you're learning how to start podcasting at the beginning, right? You can make this difficult for yourself by imagining that you are either talking to yourself or talking to a microphone. So check this out. You can make it even harder when you think you're talking to yourself or you're talking to a mic. There's nobody there, right? So you're like, okay, what do I say to my phone or what do I say to my mic? For those that we just do simple things, you can record on your phone. It's like, okay, there's nobody on the other side. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to give you a couple of tips, in order to make it easier. So put your attention on talking to one person. Don't think you're talking to 1,000, 2,000 people. Just put your attention on talking to one individual. We talk, you have to have your attention on, again, who is your ideal customer. Every podcast, I guess I mentioned this. It's because everything is addressed to your ideal customer. So you have to have done your homework about that. Who's your ideal customer? So you're going to talk to that ideal customer. What is his pains or her pains? What are his pleasures and her pleasures? With what does that person resonate with, right? If you're a business, you may already have this, this ideal customer or avatar. So basically is your ideal customer or listener. Maybe it's not for a business. Maybe you just want to go out and have fun with it. Or maybe you love certain sports and you want to just talk to that kind of people, or you like crafts and you like to talk to that kind of people, right? So who is your ideal listener? When creating that ideal person, it's up to you how much detail you put in it, right? Some people go as far as creating jobs or hobbies, likes, dislikes, family, friends, etc. The point here is that you hold a conversation with them rather than with yourself or the mic. Will sound much more natural and engaging. Does it make sense? Like, if you're just talking to the mic, it's like, it's hard. You're just talking to a piece of matter, right? Or if you're just talking to yourself, it's like, hello, myself. Hi, little Johnny. Well, what did you do today? Well, I don't know. What am I going to say today? Instead of thinking that you're really communicating with a being. All right. This means that everyone who listens feels like you are talking directly to them. It does make a difference, guys. And this leads to building and strengthening the relationship over time. Does it make sense? If you really are talking to a person, and you're really talking to a particular person, they'll really know you are talking to them. Just go and listen to the first podcast of anybody. Go and listen to my first podcast. Go and listen to the first podcast of any person. And you'll see how at the beginning it feels like they're talking to a microphone. right? They're stiff, they don't know what to do, they're anxious, and I'm talking about myself, right? So the beginning is kind of awkward because you feel you're just talking to a mic. Either it's in your phone or it's in your hand. Or if you're talking to yourself, it's like, okay, but if you're communicating, let's go to the definition of communication, right? What is communication? Let's see if we find a good definition of communication here. Let's see, definition. Well, here's one of the definitions, right? And this is from the Oxford Dictionary. It's exchanging of ideas or information by speaking, writing, or using other medium. In this case is sound, is words, right? Well, in this case by speaking, right? So, interesting because it's an exchange of information, right? So in order to be exchanged, you have to talk with someone. So in order to be in communication, when you are recording or using a microphone for podcasting, or even if you're blogging, guys, you have to put an idea that you're talking to your ideal listener, right? Many of the times I have talked to you about sports because, I've talked to somebody I think likes sports, or somebody who loves marketing, which is basically the purpose of this podcast, or somebody who's starting on digital marketing, right? And I talk to that person with that viewpoint. So communication, if you have the idea that you're talking to a mic, you will not be able to communicate, and it will be hard on you on trying to, send your message or your ideas across. Communication has to be sent to another person, an individual, nor a mass of individuals. Okay. So, food for thought.
Thanks for joining us today on 10 Exit. Life and business as usual? Never again. We love always hearing from you. Please feel free to send Marina an email, marina@marinasimonbrand.com. Your input and comments are always welcome, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if you like the podcast, you can always subscribe to it. Remember, the best way to predict the future is to create it.